Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a fascinating lecture that's all about supercharging your vocabulary. And it uses some truly creative, really memorable techniques that I think you're going to find incredibly useful.
So what on earth do these three have in common, right? A pirate, a senator, and a whole army from Game of Thrones. How could they possibly teach you English? Well, it might sound like the start of a strange joke, but stick with me. We're going to show you exactly how, using some seriously memorable tricks.
Here's our roadmap for today. We're going to start with the words for clothes, then jump to color, the art of criticism, the language of money, how we describe the world around us, and then we'll wrap it all up with one final thought.
All right, let's kick things off. Section 1 is all about dressing up with words, how we present ourselves.
Okay, first word up is bizdizen. And this is where our pirate friend makes his grand entrance. Just picture Captain Jack Sparrow. I mean, his whole look is the definition of being bizdizened. All flashy, over the top, maybe a little tasteless, but definitely memorable. Once you have that image in your head, you're not going to forget it.
Now this is a neat little pair of opposites. To array yourself, that just means to get dressed, to put on your clothes. And the exact opposite, to divest, to take them off. Simple, right? Array and divest. They cover you coming and going.
This next one is so beautifully simple, it's one of those aha moments. Threadbare. If something's worn out, what do you see? You see the threads, and they're bare. The threads are literally bare and showing. The word tells you exactly what it means. Love that.
So look how these words come together to paint a picture. You've got the highness, who is peripatetic, always moving around, and fussy about his raiment, his fancy clothes. And on the flip side, you have the ragamuffin, who couldn't care less. See? A few words, and you've got a whole story about two totally different people.
Okay, so from the clothes we put on our bodies, let's move on to how we see the world itself, in color. Section 2, a spectrum of language.
Ever seen a crowd that's just a wild mix of different people? Or a collection of things that don't seem to go together? That's a motley crew. The lecture suggests thinking about a box of multicolored blocks, all jumbled together. A vibrant, motley collection. Perfect.
Here's a great little language hack with prefixes. Maculated means something is spotted or stained, but you add that little prefix "im" at the beginning, which means not, and boom, you get immaculate. Perfectly clean, not a spot in sight. And this doesn't just work for your white t-shirt. You can have an immaculate reputation too.
And that brings us to the army we mentioned at the start. Unsullied. This is another fantastic word for spotless. If you're a Game of Thrones fan, you know exactly who the Unsullied are. They're this elite army, completely unblemished, untouched by corruption. The name says it all.
Okay, this one's a bit tricky, because we use it differently today. We usually say livid to mean super angry, right? But its original meaning is that dark black and blue color of a bad bruise. The source for this explainer actually points to a scene from the Bollywood movie Dil Chahte Hain, where a character gets punched, and that mark, that's the perfect visual for the word livid.
So we've got words to describe things. Now, how about words to judge them? Let's dive into Section 3, the art of criticism.
To castigate someone is to criticize them, and I mean really criticize them, harshly. This is where our Roman senator comes into play. Just imagine him, standing in the forum, giving this thundering speech that just completely castigates his opponent. The lecture also gives this mnemonic, linking it to the concept of a caste system, which is basically a form of harsh social criticism built right into a structure.
I love this part. We get 3 awesome mnemonics for words about making fun of something. First, mock, like a mock test. That kind of makes fun of a real exam. Then you have debunk. Think about knocking a false idea off its pedestal, or pushing it off its bunk bed. And finally, deride. It sounds like deride, right? So if you fall off your horse, people might laugh at you or deride you. Pretty clever.
Okay, so what about the opposite? What about things that are so good you can't criticize them? Well, we already have immaculate, without a stain. Then there's impeccable. This comes from a Latin word meaning to sin, so impeccable literally means without sin, flawless. And then you have irreproachable and unimpeachable, which just means you can't even begin to blame or challenge it. It's airtight.
But wait, why are we so focused on criticism? Is it all just negative? Not at all. There's this great quote from Karl Marx, "The ruthless criticism of everything existing." The point is, criticism is actually how we make progress. It's like a stress test for our ideas. If an idea can stand up to harsh criticism, you know it's a strong one.
From judging ideas, it's a pretty natural jump to judging value, especially when it comes to money. So, Section 4, the language of money.
Okay, this one is just brilliant. Parsimonious. It means someone who is extremely cheap, really unwilling to spend money. And the mnemonic, it's so good. A parsimonious person is someone whose purse gives out no money. Purse, no money. Parsimonious. You're never going to forget that one. Here we go with another great pair of opposites. Someone who is provident thinks ahead. They save for the future. You can even see the word in provident fund, which is basically a retirement savings plan. And the opposite? Improvident. That's someone who is wasteful and just isn't thinking about tomorrow.
Now, this is a fun little piece of trivia. The word husband can also be a verb, meaning to save or manage your resources really carefully. The lecturer who inspired this explainer has a bit of fun with this, joking that if to husband means to save, does to wife mean the opposite? Of course, it's just a joke, but it's a great way to remember what to husband really means.
All right, we're zooming way out now. We've talked about clothes, money, now let's talk about the whole world. Section 5 is all about describing our environment.
I absolutely love this contrast. On one hand, you have the macrocosm. That's the big picture, the entire universe, everything. And on the other hand, you have the microcosm, a little miniature world that reflects the big one. For instance, a single beehive could be a microcosm of a complex society with all its different roles and structures. It's a really powerful concept.
And we're ending our word tour with something truly beautiful. Auroral. It's all about the dawn, or even better, the aurora borealis, the northern lights. It just captures that magical, stunning, almost otherworldly light that you see in the sky. It's just gorgeous.
Wow. So we've traveled from a worn-out coat to the entire cosmos. Let's bring it all home with one final thought.
So here's the thing. The real power of learning new words isn't just about sounding smart, right? It's about giving yourself new tools to see and understand the world. It's like upgrading the camera on your phone. Suddenly you see everything in higher definition. So, the question I want to leave you with is this. Now that you've got this bigger vocabulary, what are you going to see, critique, and describe differently? Thanks for joining this explainer.